It's a long way to the top. If you want to rock and roll, you want to rock and roll? Riding on the highway, going to a show. Stopping on the byway, playing rock and roll. Getting round, getting stoned, getting beat up, broken bone, getting high, getting shook. Watch on your boots, it's harder than it looks. It's a long way to the top if you wanna rock and roll. It's a long way to the top if you wanna rock and roll. It's easy to do one night stands. Try playing a rock and roll band. It's a long way to the top if you wanna rock and roll.
Good evening, race fans. I'm your host, Caden Reif, and welcome back to another installment of the 2007 season of the NASCAR Coca-Cola Cup Series. We're here from Loudon. It's the New England 300 as we get set for race number 18 of 36 of this season. Bit of flat track magic mile action as we get set for the race here tonight as we take you to the racetrack for your starting lineup in today's race. As Jim McMurray's number 40 sits on the front row, it's a Ganassi front row lockout as his teammate Tony Stewart will join him on the front row in the second position. Starting in third, it's going to be Ryan Newman's number 38 car with Elliott Sadler joining him in row number 2. Robbie Gordon sits in the 5th position, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. will be in P number 6. Brad Keselowski starts from 7th place, and Kevin Harvick will be in the 8th position in the number 20 car. Kyle Busch starting P9, and DJ Kennington, that is your points leader. He'll round out the top 10 here tonight. Matt Kenseth starts from P11, and the rookie Casey Mears in P12. Jeff Burton, P13, and Jeff Gordon starts from the 14th spot. Casey Kane will be on the inside in 15th, and Jimmy Johnson right behind his teammate Jeff Gordon. He'll be in the 16th spot, a row behind his teammate. 17th, that's Juan Pablo Montoya, and TJ Bell puts a 26 in the 18th spot. 19th goes to Bobby Labonte, and Greg Biffle will round out the top 20. 21st, that'll be John Andretti, and JJ Yaley starts from 22nd. Eric Norris will be in the 23rd spot in the 51, and Ricky Hendrick 24th. Martin Truex Jr., P25, as Carl Edwards starts from the 26th position. Clint Boyer will be P27, and Jeremy Mayfield P28. 29th goes to Scott Riggs in the 57 car, and Kurt Busch will be in the 30th position. Marcos Ambrose, he'll be starting 31st place, and Brian Vickers in the 32nd position. Jeffrey Bodine, P33, and Scott Wimmer in the 34th spot. Todd Bodine will start in 35th. Jason Leffler in the 36th position. Casey Atwood will be in 37th. David Rudiman in P38. 39th, that'll be Johnny Sauter's number 08. Jack Sprague in the 78. He's 40th. And rounding out the field in the back row, it'll be Morgan Shepherd's 89. And Jacques Villeneuve in the 49 in 42nd position. Full field as always. It's a 42-car field here tonight as we get set to roll. McMurray and Stewart, the two Ganassi cars on the front row. We take you to the racetrack for the most famous words in motorsports, the command here from Loudon.
Drivers, start your engines!
Field of stock cars roars to life as we get set to go. It'll be a 90-lapper here from Loudon. The flat track action as we get set to roll with the two Dodges on the front row. It's a good start for Ganassi here this weekend as they get set to start first and second. Of course, it's been the talk of the season. You get to that halfway point in the year, the championship fight starts to heat up a little bit. It had been the story of Robbie Gordon for a while, but after week number 16, DJ Kennington took away the points lead, and he extended it last week with a good finish. I believe he might have won last week. It's been a while since we did a race. Yes, he did. Was the winner last week at Kansas. Was his fourth of the season, and this championship continues to heat up as we barrel down through this season.
And really, Tony Stewart has a great opportunity here to get back into this hunt.
Absolutely. 42 car going to be starting on the outside there. Kennington a little bit further back, right in the back end of the top 10. 90 laps here today in New Hampshire. Pace car going to peel off on the left. It's McMurray and Stewart on the front row as we head off of turn 4. And the green flag is going to fly as we are underway here from the New England 300. Down the back straightaway and towards turn 3 for the first time here today. Teammates get out front. You saw Tony Stewart try to take advantage of that little bit of extra banking on the outside of his teammate Murray in 1 and 2. Couldn't quite pull it off. The number 40 car leads the opening lap here today as Ryan Newman moves up the inside of the 42 for the second spot. 3 wide further back. That's Bush Keselowski and Elliott Sadler's number 83 in the middle.
Everyone leaning on everyone already.
Might have seen just a little bit of door-to-door contact there between Sadler and Kyle Busch as the 83 really tight on Dale Jr.'s left front there out of turn 4, managed to get out of the middle lane. And here you see this racetrack. Loudon really likes to be racy early in the running. It's hard to get away from each other. That top side is really equal with the bottom, and here you see Stewart trying to prove that, tried to get to the outside of his teammate for the lead. McMurray having to figure out which lane to block as they are still side by side for the second spot. Right behind him is Robbie Gordon, looks to take it 3 wide for second place.
If there's anywhere on this track you don't want to find yourself, it's the middle of 3 wide.
Saw Robbie Gordon trade paint with Newman's 38 as they head towards turn 1 this time. Now Keselowski's going to try to go up the inside of both Newman and Stewart. Gordon clear of the 38 car, tight between the 2 and the 38, still 3 wide out of turn number 2. And Gordon going to try to go up the inside for the lead. Couple of teammates, Newman and Earnhardt Jr., still side by side, still so tight. Not a lot of room to work with this racetrack. They're using all the space they can. Robbie Gordon's number 31 takes away the lead on lap number 4.
And if there's anyone in this field that needs a good run today, it's Robbie Gordon.
Without a question. That 31 car, of course, Gordon, we talked about that hot start he got off to at the start of this season, took that points lead, had a pretty solid margin up until fairly recently, started to slip backwards a little bit, hadn't quite looked themselves over the last couple weeks. But Gordon's showing a strong run here today as he moves up into the lead, has the makings of something special. Got a good car underneath him to start. Looked fast in practice, looked fast in qualifying, got a great car, but he's got a long way to go. And of course, Loudon, a lot of comers and goers.
Dale Jr. back there. Dale Jr. back there passing 4 cars in 1 corner.
There you see the multi-groove action at this racetrack as Earnhardt tried to go around the outside there of Keselowski. McMurray trying to challenge back against Robbie Gordon for the lead as they enter turn number 1. Side by side up front. Robbie Gordon trying to get that bite on that outside line that we see a lot of here, and he is going to stay in front of the 40 of McMurray for the lead. McMurray moves up to block Earnhardt Jr., holds on to second.
This racetrack tends to have tough but clean racing. You don't see a lot of wrecks here.
mix up front still. You see these guys just unable to get away from each other. That is the nature of this racetrack. As McMurray once again going to try to go up the inside of Robbie Gordon for the lead. Earnhardt Jr. swapped down to the bottom behind him. Got Keselowski and Tony Stewart side by side behind the 88 car as they head down the front stretch. McMurray with a little bit of help from Jr. almost pushing the 40 down the front stretch. Trying to keep him with Robbie Gordon, but he couldn't stay there, so the 31 still holding on to the race lead out of turn number 2. And all this action, and we still have yet to complete 10 laps in this race yet.
But something we're kind of noticing is this run is going on and on. It's getting harder and harder and harder to complete the path.
Seeing more of that 3 wide in the midfield here as Kevin Harvick's number 20 is caught up the middle. Got Kenseth on his inside and Elliott Sadler's number 83 on his outside. So tight at this racetrack. You see Kenseth almost got into the door of Harvick. Believe they managed to stay off of each other, but still 3 wide. Now it's Ryan Newman's number 38 on the outside of the 3 wide as they get tight together. Harvick just able to clear Kenseth into turn 1 there and breathe a little bit of a sigh of relief. Not stuck up the middle of 3 wide anymore. 10 laps completed now. Battle up front has continued. Now it's Dale Earnhardt Jr. trying to get past McMurray for the 2nd spot. And he will do just that. Now, you talk about drivers over the course of this season. You're getting late enough into the season. This is the halfway race. Will be the race that concludes the first half of the season around number 18. You get to the point in the season in which you can start thinking about, which drivers are worth talking about, stories that you can imagine are going to be the headliners for the rest of the year. And Dale Earnhardt Jr. in that 88 car, 9th in the standings. Many people in the industry would consider that 88 car the best driver of this season. Earnhardt Jr., 9th in points despite the fact that he was suspended for a week for an intent wreck at Rockingham involving Casey Kane's number 12. He sits 9th in the standings despite having that race missing on his resume over the course of this year. It has been a fantastic season for the 88 just without that win. We've talked about it over and over and over again. You got to imagine for a guy like Dale Earnhardt Jr., it's tough to have that winless streak hang over your head. We mentioned it over and over that it has been since 2002 that Dale Jr. last went to victory lane in the Cup Series, but he has looked like he has had the best chance to do so in any season since then, this very year. And in that 88 car has been top 5s, top 10s over and over and over again. It's been one of the best seasons of his young career this season, and he has looked more than settled in at that Yates organization.
And I think it really is just a case of once you pop the cap, once he actually pops that seal on the win, they're just going to come and come and come and come.
Without a question, you'd have to imagine the floodgates open. It's just a question of getting that win. We've seen it already with drivers like Casey Kane, who took such a long time to get his first career win. Once he did it, rattled off a 5-win season. So for him and that 12 team, a good example of Dale Earnhardt Jr. and what he's looking for, and did it at that very team with Yates in that 38 car. So another case of that team really just looking to try and break the seal, get out of the mold, and figure it out, because they have had such a good season up to this point. Just missing that win, and Earnhardt Jr. has been hungrier than ever and has put himself up front so many times and made a run at these things week in, week out. He sits in the top 5 early in the running here today with another shot at 1. McMurray gave another look at Robbie Gordon for the lead, but still nobody able to surpass that 31 for first. It's looking formidable early in the running, sitting in front of the 40. It's 31-40, 12-88, and a battle as well between a couple more cars. It's Ryan Newman, teammates with Earnhardt Jr., and Tony Stewart side by side for the final spot in the top 5.
Robbie Gordon, the path to the trophy for the New England 300 is going to go through Robbie Gordon.
Absolutely.
Just no doubt he has the best car early on in this race.
Yeah, and for Gordon, of course, as we mentioned, fell about a race out of the championship lead and is a bit of a ways back now. Really looking for a good run here tonight to try and boost himself back towards that championship. And we look at DJ Kennington's running position right now, solid. He's in the outside looking in up front right now, but still right at the very back of the top 10. Needs a little bit of a spark to get up there. And of course, second in the championship is the 42 of Tony Stewart, who also is another driver who has yet to add a win to his name this season. It's been over a year since we saw Tony Stewart last go to victory lane, and we've mentioned it a couple of times over this season, how close he's been. But for that 42 car, consistency has been the key for Stewart, and they have ran a fantastic campaign up to this point. It's been another case of driver in a team for their second or third season in a new organization finally settling in. And for Stewart, who already had a very good first season with Ganassi last year, is having a great campaign this year, has been the best driver for that team by far.
Yeah, there's just a lot of good stories this season. You have Junior, you have Stewart, but this new car, there's been a lot of teams that took a step back, a lot of teams that took a major step forward.
Absolutely.
Like, if someone took this running order and plopped it in 06, we'd be asking, where's Hendrick?
That is absolutely the question at hand, of course. Although it's not to say that Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon have had such a bad season. Of course, they've been up front here and there and have won a couple of races. Of course, Johnson has a win to his name. Jeff Gordon won a race earlier this season. But it's just been, for them, it's been a struggle for the rest of the team, for sure, as the 55, 44, and the 5 all have really had a struggle fight of the season. Casey Mears has shown a lot of good flashes of speed. That rookie has been really quick and is in the top 20 in points. So that 55, and of course, running with the 24 and the 48 right now, those three all together as you see them on your screen right now. But you talk about the story of Ricky Hendrick, who has had a tough season, although right now, once again, having a good run. But him and Brian Vickers have had just a rough season. It's been the back end for Hendrick that has really been a struggle, and they've been fast but inconsistent. That's been the biggest problem for those Chevrolets, and it has been just trying to find your footing in this new car. And of course, with an organization as powerful as Hendrick is, it's no doubt they'll do it eventually, but it's just starting to become a question of when that's going to happen.
And whether or not this is a team that needs a shakeup, that needs something different next season.
Without a question. Lap number 24 here from Loudon as we continue the running. Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the second position. Next car to try to chase down Robbie Gordon's number 31, who still sits up front of this race, has led almost 20 laps in a row now.
What did you say about this race having a lot of lead changes?
Definitely seen a very strong performance by that 31 as he has led a considerable amount of this race. Has not looked back since taking the lead from McMurray early. But he hasn't been without his fair share of challenges. Had that 40 car try to get the lead back. Hadn't been able to do it. Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s number 88 is the next to fill up his mirror and try and run that 31 car down for first. You're starting to see like that right there with Robbie Gordon. These tires getting a little long in the tooth. Grip is starting to become a little bit of a struggle as this race goes on. Such heavy braking zones at this racetrack. Earnhardt Jr. is starting to put the pressure on.
About 7/10 of a second slower.
Earnhardt Jr. is starting to put the pressure on as this race continues here. And Jr. again looking a little bit better in that spot in turn 2, has given him just a couple of peaks on corner exit, not been able to get the nose quite underneath of him, but Gordon's starting to have a train behind him at the moment. Battle for fourth between the teammates. That's McMurray and Stewart side by side for that position as they go toe-to-toe between the two Dodges, and Stewart will move past the number 40 car.
And look who it is in sixth.
DJ Kennington, winner last week at Kansas, making his presence known, finally found a route through that back end of the top 10, and he is knocking on the door of the top 5 once more.
It's one of his biggest strengths. It's a quiet strength. DJ Kennington isn't someone that tends to just take the lead and just walk away with a race. He's a driver that tends to do a lot better on the long runs. He saves his tires well. So it leads to something that's quite frustrating for anyone trying to compete with him for the championship, because you think he's down and out, and all of a sudden you blink twice and he's on your outside going for the top 5.
Making another heck of a run here today, side by side with the 44 fifth around the outside at the moment. Trying to hang tough with that Polaroid Dodge. Down the back stretch as we approach a third of this race completed. Robbie Gordon has begun to pull a little bit of a gap on the rest of the top 5 again. We've seen that push and pull here today so far. Earnhardt Jr. still in second, Kane third, and Stewart going to get split up the middle, 3 wide down the front stretch. What a move by DJ Kennington.
2-for-1 special right there.
Got past both of the Ganassi Dodges. Though Stewart trying to hang around his outside as they go through turns 1 and 2. Kennington a little deeper on the brakes. Going into turn 3, trying to clear that number 42, and out of turn 4, he's going to do it. What a move by Kennington to get past both of those Dodges, and he moves into the 4th position. Meanwhile, up front, Junior took a look on Robbie Gordon, but the 31 covers him off. Kennington under a fire again, this time from McMurray up the inside.
You can say whatever you want about Kennington. You can't say that he doesn't have talent.
Still side by side back there. A couple of other cars that have started to enter this top 10. Kyle Busch has been a member of this top 10 for a while. Bobby Labonte has found his way out of the top 15 into the top 10. And Greg Biffle rounds out
Greg Biffle.
that big 1-0 as he sits in the 10th position in the number 16 car. Race continues between that 81 and the 40. These guys are deadlocked for the last couple spots in this top 5.
McMurray and Kennington really have had polar opposite careers. McMurray is a driver that's been, quite frankly, a yo-yo between the Busch Series and the Coca-Cola Cup Series. And every year it's another rumor. Is he going to stay with Ganassi? Is he going to stay with Ganassi? Is he going to stay with Ganassi? Kennington, we've known that he has been the guy, the future of Joe Gibbs for the last 3 years.
And it's such an amazing, really, perspective on that 81 car in Kennington, and the fact that we knew he had been in their plans for the future for so long, and compared to a lot of prospects who have come around lately, has not been a disappointment whatsoever, has absolutely hit the ground running, of course, filled in last season, and just immediately started winning races in a car that was struggling to qualify for races at times. So Kennington has just been this talent that has been unmistakable for so long. It's one of the most impressive rises to the top of the charts that we've really ever seen in NASCAR history, and he has just been utterly fantastic since he stepped foot in a Cup car, and with the generation change, hasn't missed a beat, has been the driver to beat this season, already 4 wins to his name, might be contending with for a 5th here today.
And I believe he was actually discovered by Bobby Labonte when he went to a Canada Series race, the CAS car race.
it was an early scout for sure. And for Labonte to be that mentor for Kennington meant the world to him, and for Kennington to come up into this Cup Series has been everything Labonte could have hoped for him to have been in this team. Side by side for second in front of that 91 of DJ Kennington. This is Kane and Earnhardt Jr., ex-teammates, have had a little bit of history this year. Side by side for the runner-up spot right behind Robbie Gordon, who is trying to figure out which lane to block. Kane trying to run around that outside. Had a great middle corner, and now beginning to pull in front of the 31 down the back stretch. And he cleared him. What a move by Casey Kane, and the 12 moves into the lead.
Just said, I'll take that.
Drove straight past the dominant car of the day in one foul swoop. Takes the lead from the 31. Gordon now under fire from Earnhardt Jr. Holds him off for the moment. But Robbie Gordon saying not so fast. He's going to jump up the inside into turn 3. Although actually looking like he's going to dive to pit road, trying to get an advantage bringing it to the pits. Robbie Gordon going to try to shortcut. Lap number 39 as the 31 car brings it down pit road.
You can always count on the 31 team to come up with a unique strategy. But this short pit really presents an interesting thing. If you can go 5 or 6 more laps, suddenly you begin to look at the idea of cutting out one of the pit stops.
Would be a tight margin if they managed to do it. You're going to see Bobby Labonte's number 18 and Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s number 88 stay out another lap here. 50 laps to go here from Loudon. As Earnhardt Jr. sits in first, it's Labonte in second. Johnson in third, Montoya fourth, and Harvick fifth of the cars who have stayed on the racetrack. Though I would imagine it's going to be a bit too tall of an order for these drivers to make it that far, as Earnhardt Jr. will come in. Labonte in as well. And here comes the rest of them. Cars leaving pit road in a hurry while Earnhardt Jr. leads this group in. A lot of traffic to contend with here on pit road. It is a busy pit road here in Loudon. But Earnhardt Jr. is going to bring it to pit road cleanly. He gets into his box. Meanwhile, the race off of pit road. And Robbie Gordon is going to fall short to Casey Kane, who pulled off a marvelous pit stop in that 12 car.
I mean, that's exactly what the 12 car needed.
He will now comfortably sit in the lead of this race as Robbie Gordon and Earnhardt Jr. tight for the second position, but Gordon is going to move into P2. And Kyle Busch, a nice pit stop in the 43. He'll take the third spot. Earnhardt Jr. moves to fourth, and Kennington in the 5th position.
Ooh. Tight merge there by Bobby Labonte.
Found his way onto pit road just behind Greg Biffle, who had a nice pit stop as well in the 16 car. So the laps continue to wind away. And right now, it is Casey Kane's number 12 comfortably in the lead over Robbie Gordon. Right around the
Robbie Gordon finds himself in an unenviable situation. He's got a car with 2 lap older tires, way back from the lead, at a track that eats up tires. That being said, if there's anyone that can make it work, it's Robbie.
Without a question, but he's got a long mountain to climb. Right now, the margin between the leaders, 1.5 seconds is the lead for Casey Kane. Already a winner earlier this year, has just the Coca-Cola 600 to his resume on this season. But inside the top 10 in points, it has been a very, very good year for Kane in that Penske 12. Well in front of Robbie Gordon, Kyle Busch sits in third. And they're starting to battle here in the back end of the top 5. It's Earnhardt Jr., Kennington, and Biffle all in a fight for position.
You say just the Coca-Cola. You say just the Coca-Cola 600 like it's not the second most important trophy of the calendar so far.
Of course, but nonetheless, it is still just a single win to his name this season. No harm to it, of course. It was a fantastic win. Witnessed it firsthand, of course, but it is the only win that 12 car has so far this year. Halfway in this race, 45, this time by 44 to go here from New Hampshire. And Murray and Stewart still close together for position, 2 teammates 8th and 9th. And rounding out the top 10 is the 38 of Ryan Newman, as mostly everybody kept it together in the pit stops. A nice pit stop there by Carl Edwards, number 19, gained some positions down pit road. Might have a shot at the top 10 here. Another good run for that 19 car here today.
Carl Edwards really has been Mr. Where Did He Come From all year.
Without a question, it has been a pretty solid campaign for him over the course of this year. Nothing flashy. Got very close to a couple wins over the course of this year. Hasn't quite been able to get that trophy, but he sits 12th in points. It's been a very good season for Edwards up to this point.
Speaking of good runs, how about Clint Boyer fighting in the top 15?
It's been another one of those runs for Boyer. Over the course of this year, he's had a lot of those where he's just kind of quietly found his way into the top 15, top 10. And once again, finding another solid campaign here today.
I mean, a lot of people wrote Morgan McClure off as dead to rights, but that team just seems to have nailed the Gen 5.
They absolutely have, and that alliance with Childress definitely seems to have given them a second breath in life. And this season has gone fantastic for Boyer, who has definitely had the best season Morgan McClure has in general over the last maybe 5, even 10 years. So it has been a very, very good campaign for Boyer as he sits fighting with Jeff Gordon for the 13th position. Margin up front, just a little bit slimmer than it was before. Kane really taking his time up front right now, and who can blame him, leading by about a second and a half over Robbie Gordon. Going to be 40 laps to go this time for the number 12. Long, long way to go, but he has got absolutely nobody in his zip code at the moment.
Wonder how far lap traffic is.
Got about a straightaway, maybe a little more than that, up to the 7 of Jeffrey Bonine, the 8 of Sauter, and the 44 of Brian Vickers.
Oh, dear.
Another rough showing for that 44 car, sitting in the 40th position. Out of turn 4, Casey Kane, still the race leader. Gonna take you to a bit of a break here. We'll take you to NASCAR Crank It Up. It's NASCAR on ESPN. Gonna give you some engines and nothing else as the 12 of Casey Kane continues to lead this race. Edwards on board the McDonald's visor cam with Carl Edwards sitting in the 13th position as we continue to wind laps away here from Loudon. Battle for top 5 spots still continuing up front. This is Kennington Jr. side by side for position, as well as Kyle Busch in this mix and Greg Biffle right behind them. Getting close to the final third of this race. It'll be inside 30 to go, not too terribly long from now. And still a 1.3 second lead for Casey Kane up front.
This race has just really been breezing by.
As is usually the case with this racetrack, we usually see some pretty quick races at this place, what with the shorter race length, and today clearly nothing different. Still caution-free up to this point. Not something we usually see stick, so still a lot of laps for something to go wrong for somebody. It's hard to go through a race without somebody having a mechanical issue of some kind. But as of right now, this race continuing to stay green, and we have almost completed 60 incident-free. Kennington trying to move up into the podium places. Fighting with Kyle Busch for third. After he got clear of Dale Earnhardt Jr., Bobby Labonte entering this mix. Back of the shot. Kyle Busch, a good defense on that 81, holds on to that third spot.
Now, the real question about this race, with pit cycles looking to... The next pit cycle looking to be somewhere between lap 80 and lap 85. 2 tires or none.
I'd say that it's probably late enough into the race to the point where you could probably get away with no tires. You'd be probably saving around 4 or 5 seconds on a pit stop. But that depends all on how late these guys go. Usually these guys, if they're around 10 to go, they like to take 2. But if you get a little bit later, you're definitely probably going to see at least a couple of guys take no tires, so strategy could play into this thing, but that is only providing if we go green, which once again, it's a rarity, but we have made it 60 strong without any yellows yet. 30 laps to go for Casey Kane right now, still comfortably leading this race.
I'm sure Casey would like to see this race go green.
Without a question, and if I'm Kane in that 12 car, honestly, I probably don't take tires. It's so much of an advantage. You'd probably end up 6-7 seconds out in front. And without a yellow flag, it would be cruising to that checkered flag with not nearly enough time for Robbie Gordon to catch you. And 2 tires is not going to be the same advantage as 4. So I'd probably imagine you'd probably only be seeing best laps of 30.3s, 30.4s on those 2 tires. Just would not be enough of a difference, so... If I'm the crew chief on that box, I'm saying no tires at the end of this race, but we'll see how the professionals do it. Still battling for the 3rd position. DJ Kennington trying to go around the outside of Kyle Busch for this 3rd spot.
Now, of course, that is all determinant on 42 engines, not spontaneously none of these 42 engines spontaneously falling apart.
They have been known to do that as Kennington moves around the outside of Kyle Busch for the 3rd position. So the 81, if we were to get a yellow, I'd say that 81 could get dangerous in that 3rd position. Is easily the fastest car in the top 10 right now.
I mean, I think it all depends. That 81 has been very clearly a long-run car. Not really that fast right on fresh tires, but he's been able to save these tires well enough to where over the course of a run, he just becomes faster.
Thing about that is if you get a caution now, I do think that run gets long enough to the point where you can take advantage of that fact, because Kennington will have probably about 20 laps to do anything. Although you're getting to the point where that might not be the case as laps continue to wind away to be 25 to go this time. And Kane
We're also
caught
getting
up to
to
lap
the
traffic.
point where if Robbie's gonna catch him, this is where he's gonna catch him.
Just moved past that 08 of Johnny Sauter, put him a lap down. Jeffrey Bodine's number 7 is next in line.
Let's see how much slower his lap time is compared to the last. It's a 35.99 that he ran last lap. See how much time Robbie gains. 39.93.
Though Gordon not a lot faster, it was a 7.95 out of that 31 car. Kane now to work on the 7 of Bodine. Meanwhile, Kyle Busch falling backwards still on this long run. He's one of the drivers that hit in early, so took advantage of that, but starting to fall back towards the trailing end of this run. Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s number 88 is the next to attack the 43. Not quite able to get him yet.
Robbie Gordon is another one of the long pitters. Another one of the short pitters. My bad.
That would be correct. Another 0.9, although Robbie Gordon was even slower, so Kane making real efficient work of the 7 and the 08. And a lot more to come. 49 of Jacques Villeneuve up in front. Jack Sprague's number 78 as well.
.31.0. These tires are going quick.
Same story for the 31 of Robbie Gordon. DJ Kennington was the fastest in the top 5 by about 0.2 that time.
I don't know who to give kudos to, DJ or the crew chief or both.
Really making it work, although it was a 31.0 that time. Which is just about the same as the race leader Casey Kane. Closing up on Jacques Villeneuve's number 49, the BAM Racing Dodge. Kane going to be nice and patient with him here. Not trying to make any overzealous moves, taking care of his race car. Off of turn 4. 20 laps to go is now the count. The New England 300 for Casey Kane, looking for his 2nd win of the 2007 season. Cutting Villeneuve a lot of slack here.
Jacques is driving with his mirror here.
Kane now going to take the look to the inside going into turn 3.
Maybe Kane's trying to save some fuel?
Figured that was enough patience as he moves underneath. Villeneuve going to hold on for at least one more corner, but Kane with the better brakes down into turn number 1, and he puts the 49 car a lap down now. As Robbie Gordon is starting to close up to this traffic, and DJ Kennington still flying through here. And it's looking like he might not lose any championship advantage at all. Another car who has really come alive late in this run is Greg Biffle's number 16, got past both Earnhardt Jr. and Kyle Busch to move into the 4th position.
Seems like long pitting was the strategy here.
Kyle Busch really drove it around the outside of Biffle to try and fight back for that 4th spot as they head down the backstretch here. Had a great run down into turn 3, and he cleared him. That was a nice move. So tire is not all of the game here in Loudon as Kyle Busch retakes the 4th spot. Kane moves past another lap car. That was Jack Sprague's number 78. Next is Brian Vickers in the 44. We take a look at the rest of the top 10 as Labonte in the 7th position. Kurt Busch has joined his teammates and is now 8th. All 3 Ganassi cars in a row, 8th through 10th. It's Kurt Busch, McMurray, and Stewart, all in identical positions, and in fact they are heading a very large pack right now. Very solid race.
An absolute gaggle of cars.
Without question. Robbie Gordon getting to work on the lap traffic. Bodine and Sauter here as Kennington has closed all the way up to his back bumper. Try and challenge for this runner-up spot. 7:08 on the outside. And Kennington going to take the look to the inside here. Robbie Gordon caught napping just a little bit, and here comes DJ.
No contest. Maybe no.
Robbie Gordon going to fight back on the outside, not quite letting him away easy. Might try and power around him here out of turn 4. Kennington trying to hang tough on that inside. Got the better tires right now, but Gordon with the run on the defensive line. Does he clear him? He does. So Robbie Gordon holds on to the second spot for the moment, though Kennington not letting him off the hook. This fight continues between two of the championship leaders. Kennington trying to go up the inside into 3 again.
There.
Side by side as they head through turns 3 and 4. Gordon really taking advantage of that outside. But Kennington has the nose ahead out of turn 4 this time. Lap cars were...
And I'm sure Kane is loving what he is hearing from his spotter here.
And Kennington into the second position. Robbie Gordon finally yields to the 81, so Kennington moves to P2. As we are approaching the final pit window here, and man, the 2 lap cars making contact up in front of Kennington there. That was Sprague almost getting driven into the wall by Jacques Villeneuve.
Can't imagine NASCAR is going to be too happy with that.
Side by side with the lappers is Kennington as they head into turns 3 and 4. Robbie Gordon going to get the opportunity to move underneath of Sprague. And tell you what, Kennington is far closer to Kane than I would have thought with 11 laps to go.
I'm pretty sure Kane has been trying to pass Vickers for the last 4 or 5 laps.
Kennington in frame in the back of your view here as Kane is finally going to dive up the inside of Vickers. Heard the 81 got to second and figured he had to go, so he moves right past that 44. And Robbie Gordon's going to bring it to pit road with 11 laps to go. 3 wide with a lap car back there. That's Sauter stuck up the middle of Earnhardt Jr. and Kyle Busch.
Oh, that is not a sandwich you want to be a part of.
Sauter gave a bit of a bumper to Bodine's number 7, moved him up the racetrack. Junior gets past him. And now here comes the money stop.
Will it be 2? Will it be none?
See a couple cars.
I think
Robbie
77
Gordon
took no tires.
Yeah, there were a couple of cars that took no tires. There are quite a few. McMurray is one of them. Robbie Gordon took 2, so we're going to see what Kennington and Kane do. Both of them moved on to pit road this time. No tires for the 12 of Kane. And Kennington will not take rubber either. No tires for either of the leaders. It's about a 4-second difference, and the caution is out!
Oh, boy.
Robbie Gordon is in it!
Robbie Gordon!
And this race has flipped on top of its head. And the question now becomes, who is the race leader? Believe it is the 20 of Kevin Harvick. And he has damage as well. What in the world has just happened? Robbie Gordon's number 31 involved in it, and he is out of the race here in New Hampshire. It was a 2-tire stop from Gordon, leaving pit road, and I believe he got into it with the man who's leading this race right now. Yes, he did. Overdrove it on cold tires and got into the 20. A hard hit for Robbie Gordon into the outside wall, and that flips this race over.
You have to imagine Harvick's going to pit here.
He is not going to. So that moves a couple cars up. I have no idea who is and isn't pitting. We'll take it at intermission here from New Hampshire. Kevin Harvick stays out on the damage for now. We'll see if that lasts. We'll be right back here from the New England 300. Back from intermission here at Loudon. So Harvick did bring it down pit road. All the rest of those cars got waved around. Casey Kane's number 12 takes away the lead. None of this group up front is on tires. It is Kane, Kennington, Biffle, Earnhardt Jr., and Kurt Busch, the top 5. And we might see this 81 make a run at this 12 for the win here. It'll be 4 to go on the restart.
Don't count out Greg Biffle quite yet.
I definitely wouldn't. That 16 was another very fast car in this run. It's going to be interesting to see if he can pull something off here as we come to the restart. 4 laps to go here from New Hampshire. It's anybody's game now. Pace car is going to peel off on the left. Kane and Kennington up front, the dominant car leading this race. Into the restart box. Green flag is in the air, and we are back underway as Kane leads the field with a great start towards turn number 1. Junior the first to jump to the inside. Most important part of the restart for Kennington was staying in front of Biffle after turns 1 and 2, and he did just that. Now, gonna try and find a way up to the back bumper of that 12 of Kane as he leads off of turn number 4. Kane with a tiny bit of an advantage, 3 laps to go. Kennington trying to find a way up to the back bumper. Biffle looking the best of these 3. Down the
Kennington
backstretch.
has the really difficult challenge of not making a move that will allow Greg to pass them both.
Tight margin up front out of turn number 4. Down the front stretch, just 2 to go. Kane doing a beautiful job holding Kennington off on exit especially. He's been better coming out of the corners. Biffle trying to take a look to the outside. Getting a little impatient, trying to force the 81 along. But didn't nail the exit. Into 3 and 4. Kane trying to hold everybody off. Starting to pull away just a little bit. Out of 4, white flag flies. 1 to go for Casey Kane.
And we got people pitting.
42 car of Tony Stewart is blowing up, but we're under white flag. This is the race for the win, coming back to the checkered. Kennington right on the back bumper of Kane. Can he show the nose? Through 3 and 4 for the final time. It is not going to be enough from DJ Kennington. Casey Kane's going to hold off the points leader to win it. His second win of 2007. Such a close finish. Kennington can't quite make it happen. Biffle finishes in P3. 4th belongs to Dale Earnhardt Jr. And Kurt Busch just hangs on to the top 5. And just like that, both 2nd and 3rd in this championship hunt back end of the field in finishing order within the final 10 laps. Unbelievable.
You know, I just have a feeling that come Homestead, these 2 teams are going to remember this race.
But it is Casey Kane's number 12 who comes home with the victory here tonight. Such a tight run to the flag between these 2, but the 12 is victorious. Casey Kane is DJ Kennington's kryptonite, and he wins his 2nd of the 2007 season here today. And Kennington really found another gear there at the end. Both of them did. They started to pull away from Biffle and the rest of the field coming to the flag. It was so tight between them. But Kane ran it out of time at the end of that race. Kennington might have finally found his tire heat. But it is the 12 who comes home victorious. And Casey Kane running away with it at the end there. Caution comes out. Doesn't matter. Casey Kane, 2nd win of the season. That'll do it for coverage here from New Hampshire as a 12 gets it done. Next time out, it'll be a big one. It'll be the Brickyard 400 from Indianapolis as we head to the 4-cornered rectangle, the Brickyard, as it'll be a fun race there. But on behalf of Braden joining me in the booth tonight, I'm your host, Caden Reif. It's been a pleasure to have you along as always. We will see you next week. And as always, have yourself a good one.
It's a long way to the top.